That's the problem I had with that conversation. I think the conversation would have went completely different if both of y'all fiancés was standing right there. But y'all being sneaky and slimy and saying this stuff behind their back. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind, Season 2, Episodes 1 through 5. Please do not spoil the rest of the season in the comments. I have not watched it yet, but when I do, I'll review those too. But before we begin, I would like for everyone to check out my website, lavidarosastyle.com, where you can find cute accessories like the ones I'm wearing right now. The link is down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, y'all. So this is not going to really be a review. I'm not going to go detail by detail. We ain't going to break everything down. This is more so of a rant, okay? I didn't even plan to watch this show until a couple of days ago when I saw some clips that interested me. And I was like, well, maybe I'll give this season a chance. And each episode, I just got more and more infuriated. I just could not believe what I was watching. But before we hop all the way into it, I feel like y'all should ban any questions that have to do with physical appearance, because that literally defeats the purpose of the show. If we have people asking about race, ethnicity, size, that defeats the whole purpose. The whole purpose is to fall in love based off someone's personality, not with how they look. If I ask you what's your ethnicity and I'm not normally attracted to that ethnicity, I could easily cross you off my list. And that's the whole point, is not to judge people based off of that. That means you also have to choose people who wouldn't have a problem with being with certain races. Read in between the lines, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Whether they hate other races or they're self-hating, those people should be weeded out, okay? Let's move on to the host, Nick and Vanessa Lachey. Why are they the hosts? Why are they the hosts when y'all have Lauren sitting right there? She went through this process already. One of the only successful couples to have done it from season 1. Lauren would have been perfect as the host. Why? What's going on here? Now to the couples. These connections do not feel genuine. They do not feel real. They do not feel authentic. It's like they saw last season and they know how the process works. So basically they work the system, right? I feel like y'all should have switched it up in some sort of way to avoid that. Y'all should have thrown in a game changer somewhere, because they know the formula. So they use the formula to get to where they want. I'm really disgusted with a lot of these people, and so I don't know, I think watching Married at First Sight has me a little amped up because some of the same stuff is going on that show. I cannot stand when people play with other people's feelings to get what they want. It's a little bit of a different story if you and the other person are on the same page, but if this person is truly invested in you and you're gaslighting, manipulating, and using them, and sometimes straight up lying to get what you want out of this experiment, and I'm not talking about marriage, it's completely disgusting and sickening. I feel like in almost every couple there is at least one person that is doing that. I'm going to start with Danielle and Nick. I don't feel like that's necessarily going on with this couple, but I also don't think either one of them are ready to be married. I feel like Nick is really desperate for love. That's the way it's coming off. I don't know if it's real, but it feels like he's just desperate for love. He wants to be married. He wants love, and he'll take it at any cost. That's what I've seen from him. And with Danielle, she's highly insecure. Highly insecure. She has body image issues. She was bigger at one point in time in her life, and it really has affected her self-esteem. I need for Danielle to really go to therapy, get some help, and really work through this. I also want Nick to do the same thing, because he's really thirsting for love. And I feel like together it's toxic. It's toxic. It's not healthy. I think they're both attractive people. I think both of them really do feel like they like each other, but they're not ready. They're not ready. So something that stood out to me, they're already on the vacation. All the couples are supposed to meet up with each other for the first time. Danielle apparently is sick. She got a stomach bug or something like that, and she can't go. Nick goes. Nick is very mad. Mind you, Nick goes to be messy, okay? He doesn't have his partner there, so he's literally in everybody else's business. I don't think in a malicious way, but he's definitely being very messy and reading these couples in his confessionals, and it is hilarious. I mean, he literally instigated the whole situation between Mallory and Jared talking to each other, causing problems in their relationship. But I digress. So once he gets back from hanging out with them, she literally starts an argument because she's been sitting in the closet, literally creating scenarios and drama in her own mind. I truly did not understand. I was so confused. He was so confused. She's mad because he went. She says she doesn't trust him anymore. And then later on, she blamed it on a panic attack. When she says that he's like asking questions, trying to get to the root of what's happening. And she's like, you're judging me right now. You're judging me. And I was like, girl, you're sabotaging this for yourself. She's sabotaging it. Like, this man, I do believe that he really does want to be with her, but I also believe it could have been anybody. But anyway, this man wants to be with you and you're sabotaging it. I don't want them to walk down the aisle because they are just not good for each other at this moment. Maybe if both of them get the help that they need, maybe they can circle back. I don't think it's any malicious intent, but I just feel like she just likes him because he likes her, and he just likes her because she likes him. That's just the way it feels. Now let's move on to Shayna and Kyle. Literally this is season 1 all over again. Oh my goodness. What is going on here? I really was trying to give Shayna the benefit of the doubt, but she gives me mean girl all day long. So she's in this love triangle with Shane and Natalie. So I'm going to talk more about Shane and Natalie's relationship later. Natalie and Shayna both like Shane. Girl, I don't know why, but they like him, okay? And for whatever reason, she feels like she is the one that should have gotten Shane. I feel like Shane was probably feeling her more than Natalie, but she was willing to challenge Shane and Shane didn't want to be challenged. So because of that, they fell off. And so that's when she started really entertaining Kyle to try to have him in her back pocket. And I say she's a mean girl because whenever that drama went down with Shane and Natalie, she was literally sitting across Natalie, like literally crying and bawling her eyes out, smiling. Like she was not trying to hide it, it was actually very creepy. I mean, she just knew that Shane would never choose Natalie. And I wonder why. Why do you think that? So then let's move on to Kyle. Poor Kyle. This is another high school type situation where Kyle is like the nerdy guy and she's like the popular girl and she's pretending to like him and give him a chance when in actuality she's just using him to stay on this show. Pretty much. I'm not saying they didn't have good conversations. They probably did. And they probably connected on a few things. But she didn't really want Kyle. And she knows that. And so when it came up that they had these major religious differences, that should have ended it on his end and her end. But my thing is, if she was so serious about being religious, she would have led with that. That wouldn't have been like one of y'all's last conversations. It would have been one of your first. I don't think that's the reason why she's so hesitant for wanting to be with him. It's because she really didn't want to get beat by Natalie to get Shane, because I don't even think she really wants Shane. But because she wants to remain on this show and possibly run into Shane, she accepted his proposal and accepted his mother's ring. I would never accept a ring from his mother knowing I didn't really want to be with him. And then after she accepted his proposal with his mother's ring on, goes and meets up with Shane, basically trying to get back into his good graces because she wants him. She wants to snatch him up, and then got her face cracked. But honestly, both of them are trash for even meeting up with one another, because he had already said that he had committed himself to Natalie. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. So both of them were trash for it, but you are engaged. So when they meet each other for the first time, she clearly is not attracted to him. She wasn't attracted to him before she saw him, but she really wasn't attracted afterwards. And he's just like hot and bothered, like this is the girl of his dreams, blonde, just everything he could ever want. And he's overlooking every red flag to be with her, because clearly she was not attracted to him from the first moment. They go to the resort or whatever. He's already bending to her will. He's a vegetarian or vegan or something like that, and she has him eating meat. So then she was like, she wanted to sleep in separate bedrooms because she wants to keep the boundaries. If that was Shane, would you be sleeping in separate bedrooms? And then y'all let me know, did she leave without telling him? Like she just abruptly left and didn't even let him know? He had to just find out. And he's still simping. I'm sorry, this is simping. This is simping hard. He's still simping after her, even after she left him for dead at that resort. Because when they sat down and he asked her, why did you leave like that? And then she gave the little weak excuse, we were moving too fast. Girl, that's what the show is about. Moving fast. That's the whole point. It's to move fast. She gave a real Married at First Sight Alyssa's excuse. We're moving too fast. And then she started talking about religious differences. Then why did you accept a proposal? Why are you wearing this man's mama's ring? It just makes you look even more trifling. And you're just making it that much more apparent that you only said yes because you want to run into Kyle and try to snatch him up. And I hope you get your face cracked again. I hope. As much as I would hate to see Shane dunk on any woman, you deserve it. I hope you take an opportunity to try to get him and he turns you all the way down. I hope you get all the way rejected. But for some reason, I feel like he gonna play that game with you. But you know what? Even if you do get him, you really ain't getting much. So go ahead and go for the gold. Since we're already talking about Shane, let's move on to Shane and Natalie. How was he chosen? Really? Y'all knew what y'all was doing when y'all chose him. Or maybe y'all really didn't know what y'all was doing, because all the women were after him with that voice. When someone said he sounded like Beetlejuice, he really does. He really does. I mean, he is literally a frat boy version of Beetlejuice. Now, call me crazy, but that's my nightmare. I would have passed on him so quick. Lord knows Ayanna did. And if he was actually a very sweet man, or if he was emotionally intelligent, if he had redeeming qualities, I wouldn't even be talking about him like that. But he literally acts like he's in the 3rd grade. And the part of me feels like, do y'all actually like him, or is he like a representative of your high school crush that you could have never gotten? Like the popular guy in school, because he does get frat boy, popular jock, whatever. Is that why y'all like him? Because I can't wrap my mind. I really cannot wrap my mind around it. So like I said, there was a triangle between Natalie and Shayna, and you know, he was going back and forth with both of them. And one day he walks into the pod and he is so excited because he thinks it's Shayna. He's even singing Shayna's name, Shayna. Oh, Shayna. I mean, just head over heels, just so happy that he thinks it's Shayna. Meanwhile, he's been telling Natalie, you're my number one, you're the one I want, da 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 da. So when Natalie hears this, she's immediately upset because he's been basically like playing her. Her face got cracked. And so when she confronts him really, she didn't even get a chance to confront him about it. She just let him know, no, it's me, Natalie. He goes straight into gaslight mode. You're not mad at me, are you? Like, not even letting her speak. Like, not smooth about this whatsoever. Like, he literally throws his pencil down, gets mad, like a toddler. Like, he's like really angry and upset that she just doesn't brush it off like it didn't happen. Why would she when you've been deceitful? Like, he gets so angry and irate that he storms out. And she barely even said anything. She barely even had a chance to express what she had to say. Maybe y'all could have talked through it. Natalie obviously leaves that pod and is crying because she had been telling all the women like we're gonna be together, and like she like was making it known to everybody that they were gonna, you know, choose each other. She just knew that they were gonna choose each other. So when he did this was like a complete 180 of what she had been talking about before. So obviously she's in tears and she's hurt and crying, and then we have Regina George across the room plotting and planning and scheming while she's over there like drowning in her misery. So you would think it would be done after all that, but no, she put all her eggs in the Shane basket. So of course she was gonna come running back to him. They ended up getting engaged, child. I don't even remember how it happened. Of course she said yes, because that's a frat boy of her dreams. To me, they had a very awkward meeting. It was very awkward. I mean, I'm not saying I don't think they're not attracted to each other. I do, but it was just awkward. It just seems like he's even worse in person though. I don't know how she dealt with him. Like, girl, if you do marry him, good luck. You're gonna be mothering him for the rest of y'all's marriage. Like, that's a literal child. I mean, he's goofy, corny. Seems like he's very insecure because he constantly needs to be validated, constantly needs affection. But look how you act. Like, of course she's gonna be constantly negging you. You act like you're in the third grade. Ain't that what third graders do? Y'all constantly insult each other, and that's how you show you like somebody. That's what she doing. One of their main issues right now is that he feels like she jokes with him too much, and he reprimanded her for not being serious enough. And he basically feels like he wants her to brag on him. It's like, what is there to brag on? I mean, I guess if you're in a relationship, you do want to feel like your partner is proud of you and, you know, talks about all the great things that you do. But are you doing great things to be bragged on? Are you really? Are you? She says that she's really not an affectionate person. I feel like they have different love languages, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just met each other. Y'all have to get to know each other. Maybe if y'all are going to be together, maybe you are going to have to make a compromise with affection. But I just don't. Yes, you should compromise in relationships, but I just don't see him compromising on anything. So I low-key kind of want her to hold her ground. Even though that's childish, but look at him. He childish. Let me move on. Let's move on to Shake and Deep T. Once again, how was Shake even considered? I feel like y'all were just trying to fill the POC quota, but he clearly is not a good candidate for a show like this, Love is Blind, where you're supposed to be focusing on someone's characteristics and personality traits and compatibility, and not focusing on looks. And he's one of the main ones that was talking about weight. I mean, in a disgusting way. Like, could I pick you up at a festival? Like, just being really nasty towards these women. And, you know, I feel like most of the women passed on him because of it. They saw straight through him. For whatever reason, Deep T connected. It didn't make any sense in the beginning, but then when she discussed the fact that she has body image issues as well, she used to be bigger and she lost a lot of weight, and she still struggles with her self-esteem, it made more sense when I heard that. But it also showed me she was not ready to do something like this. Once again, I feel like her and Danielle are in the same boat. Get some help to work through that before you can be with someone else, because if not, you're going to end up with somebody like Shake. What's even crazier is that he has his own body image issues. He's taking out his insecurities out on other women. Whenever she shared her experience on losing weight and things like that, her body image issues, that's when he shared that. I knew he was full of it when he was trying to switch up on his stance on that. I knew it. And this is why you don't give F-boys a chance, because they know how to put on a show, okay? But they don't actually change. First of all, they're only doing it to get what they want. And two, they don't think they need to change because they don't think they're wrong. And so they're not going to do the work to change. Oh, that's just my preference. That's just my preference. They're the preference guys. But before that even came out, something even more startling came out from them. Neither one of them have dated anyone from their community, meaning an Indian person or a brown person. They've only dated blonde hair, blue eye, white people. And I'm sorry, it's giving self-hate. I'm so sorry. We see the same thing in the black community. There are some black men that will only date white women or date outside of their race, and they will never date someone in their own race. And so Black women, we're all too familiar with this. I get it, you know, they might have grown up in communities where they were the only brown people, but for you to not ever venture out and ever want to date someone from your own community, that says a lot. Like, especially for someone like Deep T, maybe she would like to date a brown man, but maybe he only likes white women, vice versa. Maybe it could be a situation like that. That anti whoever you are is deeply rooted in a lot of our communities, and I feel like it's something that should be addressed, because both of them were saying it like there was nothing wrong with it. They were just really open with saying it, and it was jarring. It really was. Once again, the crazy thing when it comes to that, when they did make a connection, it was because of their culture. So y'all have never dated someone within your culture but ended up connecting on that. But personally, I think on his end, he was connecting with her on culture because he wanted to stay on this show. But I feel like with her, I feel like she genuinely did connect with him on that. He proposed to her, she accepted, and they ended up meeting with each other. And, you know, he put on a good show of acting like he was attracted to her, grabbing her booty and everything. You know, they were all over each other in the beginning. But once they got to the resort, he started acting different. And this is when his F-boy tendencies truly came out. Now he's trying to renege on being fully committed to her. And I knew he couldn't be trusted. Now he's not attracted to her physically. You were never attracted to her. You were never going to be attracted to her physically, because that's not a blonde hair, blue eyed white woman. So he was having these feelings, never expressed this to her, but went around telling everybody else. Trash. Like, he literally was going around telling everybody else that he wasn't attracted to her. You know, she has other things I like, but I'm not attracted to her. And I'm like, then why are you here, Alyssa? Why are you here? Leave this woman alone, because I feel like she has put her all into this. And you're sitting up here lying to her and pretending and making her feel like you feel the same way when you don't. That is trash. And when he put Danielle on his shoulders, something about that, after finding out that he wasn't attracted to his fiance, it was so disrespectful to me, because I'm sure he's attracted to Danielle. I'm so disgusted with him. I can't even. Let's move on to Mallory and Salvador. This is another cultural connection, right? They both have Mexicano in their ancestry. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what they connected on, really. This is another like triangle type of thing, because she was connecting with Salvador, but she was also connecting with Jared. We're going to get into Jared and Ayanna, but as far as their connection goes, Jared is the person that she normally goes for, but Salvador is the person that she feels would give her the love and affection that she's wanted from men that she never got. So whenever Jared brought up possibly proposing to her, she ended up turning him down, and she felt bad about it, but she wanted to try something new with this man. And I genuinely believe her up to that point. I knew once he sang that song to her, it was over with. It was over with. But then she meets Salvador, and that interaction was very uncomfortable, because she clearly was not physically attracted to him, and she like physically recoiled from him. And I felt so bad for Salvador, because clearly he's attracted to her. She wasn't feeling it, and he was trying to make her comfortable. He was trying to make the situation better, but it is what it is. It was just a very awkward moment. And then even when they went to the resort, she was still awkward and standoffish, and she said she called him cute or whatever, and they even ended up being intimate with one another, to the point where she had to go to the pharmacy the next day, I'm guessing, to get a plan B. And so that's when I started to side-eye her. Why did you do that? And you know you don't want to be with him. So then we get to the point where all of the couples meet for the first time, and Jared ends up going over and talking to Mallory. I don't feel like them having a conversation is necessarily disrespectful, but their conversation was. Their conversation was disrespectful to both of their partners. To be entertaining each other in that way was dead wrong. I do not agree with it, and it turned me all the way off. to Jared and Mallory. I feel so bad for Salvador and Ayanna. So when she's talking to Jared, she says she's a guy's girl. Low key, it was giving pick me, because she's like, you know, I like to go to football games. I don't like to do all that girly stuff. I like to do what men like to do. And I was like, okay, girl, do you want a cookie? So she says she's a guy's girl, but those men never prioritize her feelings. And then the whole time while she's saying it, she was like, you know, I would never do you like that. I would always make you a priority. I would always take care of your feelings. I would, you know, saying all the things he would do. And she was like, giggling. That's what was making it disrespectful, is because she was not checking him. You are engaged to someone else. Honestly, you should not be believing him, because he's saying he would never do you like that. But look at how he's doing Ayanna by having this conversation with you. You think you're going to get treated better because you're a Latina? So then he points out the fact that the ring that Salvador gave her is not the type of ring that she wants. And she basically was like, yeah, it's not the type of ring that I wanted. Even if that's not the ring that you like, you could be like, well, I love it because my fiance gave it to me. Regardless of whatever, I still love this ring, right? The fact that she was entertaining that, dead wrong. Salvador sees what's going on. He ain't stupid. So we see him say he feels a complete disconnect with her after that conversation, and he felt so bad that he wanted to leave. Later on, we find out that after that conversation with Jared, she said, we don't necessarily have to get married. And so that's the reason why he was really so upset. Oh, I felt so bad for him. I wanted him to snap on her, really. I really did. But the next thing we know, he's apologizing. This woman gaslit this man into an apology when she was the one who was wrong for entertaining that man. I could not believe what I was seeing. And so then he ended up confronting her about that situation, because that wasn't right. And she basically is like, why is this happening right now? I feel blindsided. And then she ended up telling him about the ring comment and how Jared said he knew what type of ring she liked and he didn't. And at that point, she started questioning the entire relationship. But it's like, girl, you didn't say nothing about the ring until Jared brought it up. And at that point, she really tried to flip it on him. I can't tell how much you care. And somehow Jedi mind tricked this man and made him apologize once again. And he was over here blaming Jared for what happened. Yeah, Jared was wrong, but she was wrong too. And you are not wrong for confronting her about that. And at that point, I'm like, you know what, Mallory, you're right. You do act like a dude. You took everything you learned from those men and you're using it on Salvador. You're treating Salvador exactly the same way those men treated you. And honestly, you don't deserve him. Salvador, run. If the relationship is starting off like this, let Jared have her. Let Jared have her, please. Now let's move on to Jared and Ayanna. Once again, it's Jared, Mallory, and Ayanna in a love triangle, right? I do feel like he had somewhat of a connection with Ayanna, but it was giving platonic. Even though they had deep conversations, it just doesn't seem like he was interested in her further than a friend. It's giving friendship on his end. On her end, I feel like she is completely into him, completely sincere, and really wants this to work. But girl, this ain't it. Like I mentioned before, he low-key proposed to Mallory and Mallory turned him down. He was big mad, okay? He low-key turned into Shane because when she said that, he screamed, "It's over!" and stormed out. Like a child. There was no conversation to be had. Like, he literally just stormed out. This man was in tears. Heartbroken. I mean, had a shirt over his head. Like, crying real tears. Like, really upset. Like, he was hurt to his core. Hurt because your preference didn't choose you? Because that's how it felt. Because he was in his feelings, baby. He was hurt. Never fear, he had his back up. So instead of being honest, he says, oh, it's always been between Ayanna. It's always teeter-totter between the two. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 second. I feel like he's saying that to save face. I don't believe it. I feel like, because we're seeing this in the confessional, so all of that happened after the fact. He's saving face. I don't believe it. I think he wanted Mallory and he had Ayanna as a backup just in case Mallory didn't work out, because he knows how the game works. So then he ends up proposing to Ayanna with one of the worst proposals ever, because it was a consolation prize. Okay, a consolation proposal. I mean, he did say that he, had that conversation with Mallory. He did say that, but he didn't give the full extent that he was heartbroken about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't tell the full story. And Ayanna wasn't feeling it. She literally got up out of her seat and repelled back. This girl cried her eyes out because she knows that he doesn't really want to be with her. She knows in the back of her mind. She knows it. That's why she questioned it so hard. Had Mallory said yes, you wouldn't even be second guessing any of this. You wouldn't be second guessing whether you should be with Ayanna or not. You probably wouldn't even let Ayanna know you didn't want to be with her. And obviously Ayanna has questions for this man, and he's low-key getting an attitude. I wouldn't have asked you if I ain't like you, da 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 da. And then when he's saying the things that he likes about her, I love your strength. I feel like all of that was a cop-out. All of that was a cop-out. She was so unsure and hesitant and scared, but she ended up giving into it. I hate that she did that. I wish she would have put herself first. I wish she would have known her worth in that situation, because this man literally gave you a consolation proposal. And I feel bad for her because you could tell she just wants to be loved, but I'm just so tired of black women being the second choice or being the plan B or the backup when you can't get who you really want. I feel like he was wrong for proposing to her in the first place. I just doubt if she would have said no, he would have cried about it. I think he would have been mad. He would have definitely been mad because he wasn't on the show. But he definitely wouldn't have cried because I don't think he actually cares about her like that. So when they met each other, if I had not seen anything up until this point and I just saw them meet each other, I would have thought they definitely have some chemistry. I think he was relieved in that aspect because of her physical appearance. So I think he was willing to accept it based off of that. I think he's attracted to her off on that base level. Obviously she was attracted to him, but she was concerned about him being so tall and having a big old head. Like I said, as far as friendship wise, they do have chemistry. So I feel like that's what we're seeing when they have that playful banter and stuff like that. But him actually being romantically attracted to her, I don't think so. But he's the type of man that will still be intimate with you and still flirt with you and still, entertain you in that way, knowing that he really doesn't want to be with you long term. He's that type. So he ends up letting Nick convince him to go talk to Mallory. He didn't need no convincing. Okay, that was just a good excuse. So he went over and talked with Mallory, and like I said, that whole conversation was trifling and disrespectful to their fiancés. The whole time he was saying what he would have done, and I would have been there for you. I would have got you the right ring. I would have did this. What about your fiance? What about your fiance? You saying all this disrespectful stuff behind her back. Would you say that if she was standing right there? That's the problem I had with that conversation. I think the conversation would have went completely different if both of y'all fiancés was standing right there. But y'all being sneaky and slimy and saying this stuff behind their back. I think Ayanna didn't want to seem insecure by having a problem with Jared talking to Mallory, but I think she did sense something then. I think she didn't like that conversation, and that's why they had a conversation later on how her deal breakers are lying and cheating, and also talking about how she feels like you should cut off your exes, and he doesn't believe in burning bridges. I'm sure you don't. Girl, I hope she doesn't marry him. You deserve so much better. Once again, the same way I feel about Salvador, I feel even more so. I feel that about Ayanna because she's so sweet. She has this great personality. I just feel like she just really wants love so bad that she's willing to deal with this messed up situation. And girl, let me tell you, you deserve better than that. You really do. You do not have to settle for less with this man because he does not deserve you. He doesn't. Anyway, you guys, let me know how y'all feel down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.